everybody. Today, a little bit different live stream. I hope you can hear my voice very well. I loaded a different song, so maybe some of the settings are a little bit different. But I can see the video is okay, the sound is okay. I made myself a little bit smaller because so that we get more on the view. Yeah, we have a special on RG, and as you can see, RG has only the normal size. We don't have different user interface sizes with RG. It's only 100% version, so I need to increase my screen for streaming a little bit so that you can still see it. And I wanted to show you a few tricks with RG. So what I did is basically playing a few chords. And so don't listen to the music. That doesn't have any pretension. It's purely to show you a few cool things with RG. So what I did is simply take from Blue 3 a piano. Okay, the piano. I have a little bass from Predator. As you can hear, a simple bass. Then later on, I have a synth sound from Blue 3. That I have, and of course some basic drums from Punch, which is this one. So this is more for as the background, but I wanted to show you a little trick. So if you take RG, if I would take the basic RG, it's very important that you understand the concept of it. So here I take the first preset, and you see my keyboard in the upper screen, and essentially what you trigger is the sequencer, which is playing these sequences. So in the first octave, you have major chords. If I play a note, an A note, on the second octave on my keyboard, I have a A major 7, which is the disco type of thing. So think of Nile Rodgers, the producers of, no, I forgot the band name, which inspired me. So really the 70s stuff. So the first octave, if you play one note, it's a major. Second one, it's a major minor 7. And then if you play one octave higher, it's again major, but then it plays sequence B, which you can see in the slide here, sequence B. And then again, the fourth octave is again sequence B, but then again minor 7 chords. So it plays the sequencer, and that one is made for creating the sequencer. So I can shut off things here, make tie notes, downstroke, upstroke. This is how you create the groove. So it's essentially a rhythm groove machine. So again, first octave major, second octave is minor 7. With this Stratocaster electric guitar, it plays sequence A. If you go to the third and the fourth octave, you have again major and minor 7, but then it plays sequence B. So you have a more variation in creating the grooves. Now, people would say, why are there no diminish and all type of other chords in it? Well, if you would take all the chords which are available, I think it's over the 20 types of chords, and then I talk only about one position on the guitar. You could have a lower position, a higher position on the neck from the guitar. So it's almost impossible to capture. So what we did is making it more a groove machine. Of course, you have the Stratocaster, the steel string, which are chords, but the muted guitar and power chords are not chords. So they can be played in whatever you want. But my biggest tip for you, if you say, okay, I miss, for instance, diminish, is that you also need to look at the fact how you create music and what you also could do, because it's not always the case that the guitar needs to continuously play. So what I did in this little piece here is show you what, for instance, you can do if you go, because the diminish is not in RG, not in the steel string, and also not in the Stratocaster Electric. What you can do is simply, at that moment, you don't let the guitar play, because you could use another sound for going to the diminish chord. So here you see there's a little gap, and in this gap you see most of the RG are not playing, only the muted one, which are single notes. And you see here blue is in the orange color, which means in this part, so here it goes into the diminish, and then it transposes to two semitones higher. So it goes, it's D minor, and then here it is D diminish, and then it goes to another chord. So let me play it, and then you will understand that you not necessarily always have to let RG play, because if you don't have the chord, give the music a little bit rest and then continue. So let me play it. So here, now another guitar comes, steel string here, power chord, electric guitar, muted. So watch now, very soon you get diminished. Now, and then it continues. So you see there's a break, so RG is not playing there, but you give the music also air. So it's also how you go different in arranging your song. So it's mainly a groove machine, and if you are playing music with a lot, maybe fusion music or jazz with lots of chords, well, then RG for the chord models, it's not usable for you. Then you still could use the power chords and the muted, but you need to rethink a little bit and really use it with the Stratocaster sound and with the steel string, really as a basic groove machine. So now let's play it again. So we were in this chord range. Diminish gap here. So I make a little ting ting ting, some disco toms, but then you see the blue comes in there. So then also, I mean, this is a little bit of arranging. So you hear the blue synth come in here. This is this one. Diminish. So you can use it still a lot, even if it doesn't have all the chords you're seeking. And basically, it's a groove machine. So that's tip one. Use it in a creative way. It's limited from that point in terms of chords, but for certain types of music, picture that you need to create a short TV commercial thing, or for house, which is very often just in one type of chord, then you have a very cool machine. Another thing I wanted to tell you about RG is how you play the notes. So look here, this is the muted one, and here we have the groove one. The power chord. Of course, the power chord doesn't have any chords, so then that doesn't matter. It's a fifth tuning, they call it. So it's a, if you would take the The C, it plays the C and the G. So that's the fifth tuning from this sound. So that's what they call a power chord sound. And it's a distorted sound. And what you can do with the groove, watch here and make it a little bit bigger. You see here the notes from the power chord, which is this one here, this. So I mute the other ones. Only try to play this is the power chord. Now it starts playing. Do you see what happens? I should make the cycle different. Left 9, so the locators. Here are the notes. Let's make it a little bigger again. I double click, then you will see that I play long notes, which plays fully the sequence, but also short ones. And that's the cool thing. So if I play on the first octave, it plays sequence A. If I play on the third octave, it plays sequence B. Maybe I should show this to you. Let me see if because you can make a lot of variations with the grooves. Okay, let's open it. Here it is. So you see here this little LED, A, plays sequence A. And by the way, you always can add it if you think, okay, it's nice if I do this. And then sequence B starts in the third and the fourth octave. So that makes that you have a lot of variation. But another thing is that you also can play shorter. You trigger the sequencer, but if you play the sequencer shorter, you got a different groove, which you see here in this part. Long note, 4 small notes. Long note, one long note, 1 or 2 octaves higher for a different sequence B. And here again, the normal one. So therefore, you can have some. Here you could say, okay, the last one I don't like, I throw that one away, or make it even shorter. Yeah, you are free to do creative stuff with RG because you trigger the sequencer. Here it is, short one, and then, or you say, okay, the last one I don't want to have. And you see it also reflected, of course, in the sequence, in the LED playing. So let's play it again. Play it long, short. And you see it has 32 steps. So you have the option to have a very long sequence. Okay, everybody, welcome. A little bit different live stream. It's about RG because you have an RG special going on. And RG is what I mentioned in the newsletter, far more than a one-trick pony. And if you are creative, you can do some very cool things. So one thing, what you can do is, of course, playing the notes shorter or even move the notes. So if you played it, you see everything is on the first beat. But I also could say, okay, let's start on the second beat from this bar. So from bar 10, I start on the second beat. Let's listen how that sounds. So you can make totally, I mean, you have the tendency to play everything full note. So you are totally free in doing these things with the note lengths, the position of the start. And this is the power chord. And of course, yeah, or if you have something going on, you always can pick a different preset. So kind of. The power chord is not related to chords, so no matter what music you make, you can blend it in anywhere. And the same is for the muted sounds. The muted are these. And also here you can see it doesn't start on the note, on the first one. Let me make the piano a bit softer. Here is the piano. So that we hear the muted. This is the muted guitar. And these are single notes, so you don't have the influence on chords. So the power chord and muted are not chord related. But you trigger again the sequencer, and also here, if you shift the note start where it starts and how long you have the notes, it changes the whole perspective. It's a different preset. So here it starts on a different note. If I would say, take this one on the first note of the. So you see here is a gap. I can make the note longer, then it plays longer, the sequencer. And it plays too long, because then it goes already in the other. So these are two sounds which are not related to any chords. So if I would go now to the diminished part, essentially that will be no problem at all. So that's about RG. So I hope this helps a little bit for you in how to work with RG. So how to solve an issue that you think, okay, this diminished chord is not there, or maybe you have a very different other chord. Yeah, if you create music, it's not bad if sometimes things, if they are muted, that gives the music air. So just like here. The other instruments like this, the synth sound and the blue E piano, they play the diminished chords, but the guitar stopped playing. Except for the muted, of course, because that is not a chord. So that's also a solution. And of course, people who regularly do arrangement, create music, know what I mean by this. So that the chords are limited, but if you use it well, it can be very productive. An advantage of RG, this is a guitar player who doesn't need to tune his strings, who doesn't need coffee, who doesn't need to go to the toilet, who doesn't get tired, and doesn't have any calls by his girlfriend. So that's also an advantage of RG. Me again, silly. There's another sound, I think. It's the steel string. And the eighths note are more for 8 notes strumming. The 16ths, so we have different type of basic samples on board to make it realistic. It's a nice guitar sound, isn't it? Muted. That's the other sound, muted. And of course the rhythm guitar. Now this is the 16th. This using the 16th note. Here you can see 16th basic groove. So with the steel strings we have a basic sound, which is the steel 16th for 16th note grooves, and we have a steel 8th, which means for more 8 but slower grooves. Yeah, then we have the distorted, which is the power chord. Then you have the muted low and high. The low is a little bit different on a position on the frets than with the muted high, the higher note. So and then of course the power chord. So that about RG, and yeah, if you are interested, check the introduction video, because then you might understand the whole concept, because sometimes people buy something and then don't know how it works. I mean, they think, is it only predefined grooves? No, it's not predefined, because you can change yourself the groove. You can, if you have here the steel of the electric guitar, I can change here the things. I can add notes, downstroke, upstroke, pause, change the length of the sequence. This is 32 steps. I can make it 16 steps or even 8 steps or 9 steps. I can make it even 6 steps to make it a waltz. Ding, 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 ding. 12. 8, 8. So, so that's the story about RG. Now I need to check one, because I will be a bit shorter today because I have other things planned. So if you have a question for RG, let me know. In the meantime, I need to check my mail. Put something else. Sorry for my screen stuff for you guys. So I put that a little bit aside so that you don't, because I need to check. Okay. Need to check, because somebody did send in the song which I like to play, but I need to find it in the long list of emails. So in the meantime, please let me know in the chat room if you have a question about RG. Oh, if I would type the name, I would have it, of course. Okay, guys, I don't find it yet. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. The RG gang, yes. Yeah, I hope that you enjoy Lausanne, which we had released last week. Okay. Okay. I have my emails now here. This is from, yeah, that's the one I want to have, but not that one. It should be a bit earlier. An email from Hadleigh, and he sent me a song, very nice, but the first one had a little bit of a off-sequencing stuff, so I sent him the request to send because it was so distracting, at least for me, that the okay, here we have it. So that I can play it. So I should be able to download it. Okay, so that works. Cool, we're gonna play it a bit later on. Okay, close down. Prefer noise shots. Mute guitar. Yeah, we had a long time ago with computer music, we had the muted one as a limited for the computer users, only with the muted sound at that time. And we did this also for Japan, I believe. Oh, that's good news. Cabrons is working for a song. Yeah, that would be cool. With tips from Rob. Yes, cool. So yes, guys, so I will go over now to playing this song. It's called Apocalyptic Dream. And Hadleigh uses all our software synthesizers for it. Let me see if I can find the text he wrote me. Okay, that's the wrong one. Okay. Looking if I put that in a document. No. That's not good. Okay. So he does mention, Hadleigh mentions he uses track 1 as Predator 2 with Philadelphia Sweep, Predator 2 violin amount, vibrato as a lead sound, Blue 2 evening pad, Punch, he uses the iron body bank for which of the bleeps and bloppy things. Okay, let me see if I put this in front because you can read it. This is Hadleigh, and this is what he's writing me. So then we have 4, 5, and 6 are the Ian body, some sounds. Track 7 is the Moog Sub 37, and that one went out of sync. Maybe because of the MIDI connection, but that one went out of sync. And he's inspired by Vangelis by this product, and it's very nice. So I'm gonna play it now for you. Enjoy it. So it's Hadleigh. I hope he's in the chat room. And it's called Apocalyptic Dreams. So let me see if this works out for us. Play anyway. Yes, thank you, Hadleigh, for sending it in. Yeah, the drums. I personally, I would love to hear the song with no drums, but only the pad and the sweet lead sound you play, and then just keep it half the size of the length, and then you have a very, I think, a very nice song that captures. Now, yeah, it's a bit too long. Then listeners would get a little bit bored. But I think by adding all the effects and the drums, it might be distracting from this very nice pad and this floating lead you play over it. So I would love to play it next time. And if you can do, make a version without the drums. Also, maybe the FX a little bit less. Maybe half speed of what you played. So there's a little trick in Cubase, for instance, where you can say, play this track half speed. Then suddenly you have the sound effects. And because it's very ambient, so if you listen to the pad and the lead over it, and then you have this pretty busy sound in the background, I think it is possible if it's maybe shorter with the drums. But I would love to hear it with only the pad and the lead. And it sounds great. The sound quality is, of course, very impressive. And here you have the text what Hadleigh used. And, of course, track 7 was this sequence sound which went out of sync, which is, of course, not in this version you heard. Yeah, it's... yeah, potential is absolutely there. So what I would do, I mean, that's my opinion, I would make it half the length, throw out the drums, and so now and then a little bit of FX, but not too much. So that's my basic idea. Thanks anyhow for sending in. So I'm now here reading my own chat in the chat. So you got a kind of weird chat, looking at the chat. Haha. Okay, so yeah, guys, today about RG. I'm looking in the chat room if there is anybody asking a question about RG. Will there be an RG2 in the future? Yeah, well, that's a complex story. We might have a RG power chord, which is only focusing on power chord, and then having more power chord basic samples on board, some ratcheting options. Because it's very hard. What we could do, of course, is making a different size of the user interface. But as it is very complicated to expand RG because of the limitations with the chords. And then people would say, okay, why don't you then sample each single note of the chord and you play it on your keyboard, the chords? That still sounds different. That's the reason why RG sounds so nice, so realistic, is because we captured the live playing and chop that into the sequences. If you reproduce that with the single sampled notes, it simply sounds different. If you would have an A major chord in the electric guitar and you would have the 6 strings played, sampled separate, that's possible. But still, it sounds different than if the guitar player is playing it. That's a very strange thing, but that's what I noticed. So, okay. So essentially, it's not planned, the RG2, but maybe a RG power chord, which is the power chord only, and then with also some additional features. Okay. Looking at the chat room. Okay, cool. Some nice response to the music. That's cool. Okay, next week, maybe I can have some other news. What is ahead in the future? We had, of course, the release of Losane, this lo-fi FX. I hope you had already enjoyed it. If you own the Explorer 8 bundle, you have it inside your Explorer 8 bundle. And by the way, RG is also in the Explorer 8 bundle, of course. The last news is, of course, the eLive is sold out, but that was already last week. I will present my album at eLive. I created a video clip for the titles. It's not the title song, but it's the first song which I played on one of the live streams, and I make also some other video clips and put that on my music YouTube channel. Okay, great to hear, Nick, that you love Lausanne. Yeah, awesome. Okay, guys, so here I had something in Bluetooth. I changed this little sound, CS, and we talked about synth. This is a sound which is essentially Selena string, very thin, sample of the Selena string, and that combined with a CS80 sound to get a more big stack sound. Volume was a little bit down. Strings. Okay. Now back around green 10. Okay. Deep house music. Yeah, RG is great for typical house music. This is one of the pad sounds. Oh, this is a bass sound. Well, this one uses muted guitar with a pick bass. So this is the... Okay, I don't hear it. Why I don't... Oh, it's... Is it modulating? I don't know. Very nice pad sound. Super synth pad field. From the new album, I had a nice chord thing. I think it was... No, it was something else. No, sorry guys. So this is a really nice pad sound. It combines essentially very interesting things. So if I shut down oscillator, so I'm just now playing around with the with Blue 3, is the strings, which is Selena strings sampled, and it goes directly into FX, so it doesn't use any filter. To make it a little bit. So picture you have a Selena strings in your studio. Let me make it a little bit louder. And then you stack that Selena strings with a crier from a sampler. And then you take also your Jupiter 8 and you make a pad with using subtractive synthesis. And then you shut them all together on, and then you have a super synth pad field. Let's see if I can hit the wrong chord. Oh no, it's nice modulation. So, and that's the reason, by the way, I told that many times, that we have in the amp section always visible, because the amp envelope you use a lot for tweaking your sound. Because if I change it here totally, you suddenly have a totally different sounds. So you see how much that influences. And I open the attack for slow attack, long release, and then suddenly you go into a very spacious sound. Cool, isn't it? Okay, so that's a very nice pad sound. This is an introduction bang, preset 116. Of course, we have bangs with pads, only in pad sounds. FM to XY pad, I'm not sure what that is, but let's give it a try. Yeah, RG, Teddy Riley, by the way, is a Rob Papen user from day one, by the way. And so the RG is cool for groove, really groove, making cool grooves. So here we have then, of course, so I'll go back now to RG again to end this live stream. Here we have the RG. I will shut down the chords. So shut down. Now we're a little bit Michael Jackson beat. It's a bit slow, maybe. Oh. Hitting the wrong fader here. And then we go to RG Live. So of course this is a no. This one reminds me, by the way, also a little bit on the how does producer called again? Of course, I need to time it better. Sequence B, sequence A, sequence B, and the essentially Nile Rodgers from Chic, from Chic, this band Chic. Nile Rodgers, this inspired me essentially. Also, was one of the inspirations for RG to make this the grooves, and typically then we had first the Stratocaster sound, but then I thought, well, we should have more sounds. So the steel string came along. Then afterwards we had the update with the muted and the power chord. But here you have some very interesting. So these are very cool. So, yeah. Okay, guys, this was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hadleigh, thanks for sending in this song. Really enjoyed it, and the other people in the chat room also enjoyed it. We catch up next week, and then we have another live stream. And enjoy creating music. And thanks for joining. If you like the live stream, give it a thumbs up. It's a little thumbs up. And see you next time, guys. And again, thanks for watching and enjoy creating music. Bye-bye.